Hey everybody, this is Jeremy Burziza in Memphis, Tennessee. I have been experimenting with using Sugru, the moldable silicone putty, to replace the neck corks on saxophones. Traditionally, the cork used to connect the mouthpiece to the neck has just been the best material available for a number of reasons. It's cheap, it's easy to replace, and it's sandable, and it can compress to a bunch of different mouthpieces. But the Sugru material is really fantastic, and I've been having a lot of luck with it. Here's a Mark 6 neck that I did really recently, and here, let me take the leaf off this so you can see. It's really cool to use translucent mouthpieces because you can really see the tight seal that it makes all the way down and right up to the tip. It works with a number of mouthpieces. I've got a old Meyer Brothers replica right here that likes to be pushed a bit farther in on the mouthpiece, on the neck, and I mean, it works awesome. It's friendly with cork grease, and it's sandable, so you can get it just right, just like regular cork. I want to make a little video about my process that I've been using to get it on a cork. I'm going to be using my 28M Con neck as an example. And I got one more packet of white Sugru left, so we're going to be doing that. It's a little ticky and a little finicky. A couple things you'll need. A tenor saxophone mouthpiece. I like to use an oversized tenor mouthpiece because then you can get the taper right, but then sand it down that little extra bit. Some Teflon tape. I'm using Oatly fast tape, but any sort of Teflon tape will work, and we'll be using this a little bit later in the process. Some Q-tips on hand are really useful. Some Flex 320 sandpaper for sanding down a little later. The tenor saxophone mouthpiece, I'm using an old Runyon Con Comet mouthpiece. Again, it's translucent. This is a tenor mouthpiece on an alto. Get the taper. It's translucent though, so it makes it really nice to be able to see what's going on the clay on the inside as you mold it on. Without further ado, let me just go ahead and explain, and if there's anything else I've forgotten, I'm sure we'll come across it. So I've taken off the old cork, as you can see, and I have cleaned the ever-living crap out of it. You want to make sure that you get all cork, all glue, all remnants of anything off entirely, because we want the Sugru to adhere directly to the brass. And moreover, I actually tried to rough it up a little bit. Not a lot. I didn't want to take any material off, but I did want to give the Sugru some teeth to sink into. So we're going to go ahead and open the Sugru. It's really incredible stuff. Once you open it and air hits it, you've got about 30 minutes, I'd say, of really workable time here. So it's best if you approach this when you're in kind of like a Zen mindset, because it can either be very patient and easy, or you can get frustrated at it really easily as well, and we want to avoid the latter if at all possible. So keep it real simple, relaxed, and patient. What we're going to do first, I took a little, by the way, a little isopropyl alcohol and rubbed it on there too to get it extra clean. Any sort of chemical remains or any oils we want off. I don't know how necessary that step is, but better safe than sorry. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the glue and I'm just gonna, the Sugru, and I'm just gonna kind of like rough it around with my hands, eyeballing, just roughly if I was to like, mold a cork. This doesn't have to be perfect just yet, but the idea is that we are trying to get it just as evenly round all the way around. We don't want to have it super thick on any one side. And I don't know how this is going to turn out, guys. This might be a really long, sprawling YouTube video, or I might nail it in the first try. I've had varying results, so I'm kind of trying to refine my process to make it foolproof, but feel free to take what you're learning here and make it your own. This is only my third attempt, so I'm by no means like the master guru on this. I just think it's really cool, and I think, you know, I've learned so much from the YouTube community that I'm really grateful that I can, like, hey, guys, I figured something out. I can contribute something, you know, and share with y'all. So, okay, here comes the tricky part. I'm going to take the mouthpiece and put it on there and kind of shape the Sugru around with the mouthpiece. What I want to avoid, though, and this is like important, is I don't want the Sugru to stick to the inside of the mouthpiece. So one thing that I'm going to try to avoid that is I'm going to take a little regular cork grease. Boop. And I'm just going to rub it on the inside of the mouthpiece real quick, just to give it a nice little greasy finish. Just, you know, if it was thinking about grabbing onto the side of that, don't. Okay, and then when I'm putting it on like this, I'm trying to make it nice and even, smooth, and I'm rotating it the entire time. I don't want to just shove it on. I want to keep it in constant motion. Okay, cool. So you see how it shaped it, and a little bit of excess came off. I'd like my cork a little bit longer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that excess and just kind of snake it around the bottom there, and just rough it in, and then we're going to go back again. And also I'm checking at this point to make sure that all around it's super even. I'm noticing, yeah, you can kind of see it, it's a little thick right there. So what I'm going to do this time when I put it on is I'm going to hold the neck like this with a thick part on top, and I'm actually, as I twist this on, I'm going to apply just a little bit, not a ton, you know, it's a feel thing, of downward pressure, like so, just to kind of even that out. Okay, cool. So some material came out a little bit right there, and that's cool. I'm going to try to take it off without messing anything up on the curve. Here's that Q-tip coming in handy. Pulling that out, shaping that. Looks good. Everything's coming out at the end. This is looking awesome. Okay, so a little separation right here. Whoop, separation is natural, as they say. So we're just going to fill in the gaps there and go again. Actually, you know, last time I did this, I got stuck in the mouthpiece a couple times, and it was a total pain in the ass. So I'm going to be better safe than sorry and just go ahead and put some more cork grease in there. All right. Going back on with a little twist and pulling back off. Separation again, not a problem. I'm hoping the cork grease isn't adversely affecting the seal there. We'll see. It's kind of a new variable this time around. Okay, that looks freaking incredible. And okay, so like I said, this is very much a Zen kind of thing. You can futz with it and futz with it and futz with it and try to get it more and more perfect, or, you know, when you get it close enough, you can say that's good and walk away. Let me just cut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down the bottom here. Put the mouthpiece on one last time, hopefully. We'll see how this works out. I'm going to take my handy dandy steel ruler. Just kind of take off the excess a little bit there. And I'm going to hope and pray that the mouthpiece will just come off. I don't like to leave it on this long, but yeah, very good. Cool. Alright, so yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be so easy. It's never so easy. So a couple things got a little wonky on there. It's a little uneven. And this is good because I wanted to show you all this anyway. What I've been doing is I've been taking this stuff and just snaking it up and kind of filling it in where it got a little wonky or got a little messed up. It's a little thin over here, so I'm gonna place that, push that down, and we'll try again. Again, you got like 30 minutes with this, so it's not the kind of thing where you need to really stress about it, but it gets particularly unnerving after you get it just right, and then you just get really overly anal about it and try to correct something that didn't really need to get correcting and mess the whole thing up. So you know you, and you just, recognize your own limits and stuff and when to walk away and when to keep futzing with it. And you'll know. It's a feel thing. It's like, anything else. So same process. A little excess came off the bottom. I'm feeding it back on. Checking for evenness on all sides. It's looking pretty good this time around, so I'm not going to try to exert any pressure in any direction. I'm just going to slip it on and just try to smooth it out. A little sticky. Pulling it out. Okay. Just trying to smooth out anything that was looking a little rough and hairy. That's about the length I want. Might try spinning the opposite direction just for the sake of balance. Okay, so this is looking really rather good. It's hard to illustrate in the phone, but I'll try to make it real pretty and clean to see. Yeah, okay, so basically, let me do one more cut on the bottom so you can really see down there too. Said this might be a little bit long and sprawling of a YouTube video. Apologize for that, but it's getting close. Okay, and I'm going to actually call it right here. No, I'm not. Okay. So, we talked about what to do if it's thick on the outside. It's a little bit thick on the bottom now right here. Right there. So like right next to the underslung octave mechanism. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exert pressure the opposite way, like this. I'm going to push down a little bit right here with my thumb, while also pulling this way. Again, it's better to be neurotic about this right now and just take care of it. I feel like as this stuff starts to cure, you can kind of meld it in different ways, but this is the time, this is the point in the process where you really just want to get it as even as possible. We can sand the finish down later. We can get it super smooth. We can always actually even add material to it, if it's not right on the tip and stuff. But it's really difficult to correct an unevenness around. And plus, if you're gonna do something, might as well just do the daggum prettiest best job you can. Okay, so again. A little hunk got taken out right there. I'm just going to take a little ball, press it on that little hunk. Fine. It will smooth itself out. It's starting to look really good. Kind of happy with it. I'm feeling it's starting to lose some of its integrity. Okay, no. I'm sorry guys, I kind of want to post this just totally unedited if that's okay with you. I know it's like obnoxious, but I want you to see the highs and the lows with it. You know, a couple times doing these, I've, you know, like I've been describing, I've had it just right, and it's been freaking awesome. And then I'll go in because, oh man, you know, I'm filming in front of my millions of adoring fans. I want it to be just right, and I mess it up. So, yeah, this is actually my second attempt filming. It just came out, my confession. Okay. Alright, so one thing that is bugging me a little bit is it's gotten really thin right here. The back side's all worked out, so I'm going to smush a little bit of this excess, and I'm just going to apply it directly over the thin spot that's bugging me. It's going to be pushed down, and it's going to balance everything out, but, you know, you'll see. Forward, one step back. There'll be a point when I'm sure I'll edit this down and I'll have like to see after Jeremy figures this all out and gets this all worked out, skip to 20 minutes and 33 seconds. But for right now, thanks for sticking with me. I feel like I should have a whole like saxophone stand-up routine prepared. Okay, I feel good about this, guys. It's getting pretty close. And also too, like, keep in mind, like, if right now I wasn't satisfied and I just wanted to scrap the whole ding-dang thing, it's still totally moldable. We're still in that 30-minute-ish window where it's like, you know, really malleable like this. So the most important thing is just try not to stress about it. Try not to stress about it. Alright. Although I'm having less and less success. Man, I feel like I should have cut my losses there at the beginning and just stopped working on it. And that's kind of the moral of the story. I'm glad you're getting to see this part of the process. Know when to cut your losses. My buddy Ron Coelho just died. My mouthpiece guy. He talked to me a lot about, you know, his process for making mouthpieces, and he was a big proponent of like knowing when to walk away. He said he had ruined a whole lot of mouthpieces that had been just fabulous because he had tried to, like, you know, take it after it had been playing great and, you know, make it perfect by how he was taught, you know, with the even rails and nice and smooth and whatever. And so a lot of times you get mouthpieces from him and they'd have like little flaws, but they'd still play like all hell. So that being said, don't get too neurotic about flaws in this step in the game. Just try to get it nice and even, and then walk away and let it cure for a couple hours. And what I'll do is I'll pause the video and come back to it. Feeling good about this time, guys. Looks good on top. It's hard to tell how it looks below without cutting it down, but I don't even want to change a thing up top. I'm not going to touch it. Oh, it's Larry right there. Trim down the excess. Will this be the end for our hero? Will he have gotten the perfect pull? Let's find out. Guys, I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, I'm going to show you where I'm at, and then I'm going to walk away because it's a fool who doesn't take his own advice. Okay, so try to get close up here. I don't know how to make this focus. Do I tap it? That'll do. Okay, so you see how it's looking. It's almost perfect. What's really important to me is that, again, it's all even all the way around. Let me try to make this a little cleaner at the top so you can see. I use my steel ruler to flatten out the tip. Use my Q-tip to clean it out of the inside. Okay. Yeah, so if you're not like one for like patient and exacting patient work, I would outsource this job. I'll do it for you for $100, and that includes shipping back to you if you get it to me here in Memphis. But you know, it's not rocket science. You can do it. Okay, so I don't think I should stick this on one more time, but messing with the top kind of. Oh, sweet. Okay, I can cut that down later. All right, it's looking pretty great. Again, not perfect, but it's not like stupid thin in any spot. It's a little thin on the top. Pushing down on the top here. Okay. It's a close one. Okay, so it's perfect now. I mean, it's really perfect, except some material got moved from right here. So I'm just going to add some material to the bottom. Hope that everything else stays the same. And go for one last swipe. Again, what we're trying to avoid here is a situation where this stuff sticks to the inside of the mouthpiece, because gosh, it's a buzzkill. Imagine the stage in the game. You know, it's been 20 minutes futzing with this, and then to have it all messed up because I got a little bit neurotic at the end. So, again, know yourself, know your limits, and damned if I'm not satisfied with that. Okay. Perfect. This is a happy moment, guys. Now, there's a little bit right there, a little spot, see if I can get in the focus zone, where it's a little bit not right, but you know, honestly, my mouthpiece is only going to come to right about there anyway, and I'm going to sand that bitch so smooth, it's not going to be an issue. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be wonderful. Alright. We're happy and we love this thing very much, and what I'm going to do is I am going to resist the urge to mess with it at all. So what I want to do now, this stuff, after about 24 hours, it cures hard. And here's that Mark 6 neck again. Like, it is hard. It's flexible enough to where, again, you can fit a variety of mouthpieces on there, but it's not going to be moldable anymore. And so between now and 24 hours from now, there is a degree of malleability that we're going to harness. So after a brief intermission, what I'm going to do is, once this stuff kind of sets in place as is, where I'm kind of happy with it, I'm going to take some of this Teflon tape here, which got unraveled, and I'm going to wrap this in the Teflon tape. Then I'm going to slip the tenor saxophone mouthpiece on one more time, not at all being concerned that the mouthpiece will stick to this stuff, because you know the Teflon will keep that from happening. And then what that'll do is that'll just give it a little bit of extra compression and ultimately a little bit extra adhesion to the brass, hopefully, in theory. And then what's going to happen is when I unwrap this Teflon tape after 24 hours, it's going to be pretty dadgum close to what is needed for the taper of an actual alto saxophone mouthpiece. And then we're just going to take our Bindi sandpaper, our Flex 320, and sand it down just like it was regular cork. And that's when we can also kind of really fine tune any unevenness if it happens. This is perfect. I mean, I'm eyeballing this. I'm really satisfied with how even it got all the way around. So it's good when it happens well. If it does, if you mess it up and you get really frustrated with it, rip it off and start over again. This pack of Sugru is like $2, and it seems like a pack is like strangely exactly the right amount to do a neck cork. So I'm just going to set this down somewhere where it's not going to get messed with by any kids or dogs or anything, and I am going to go play for 2 hours, and I'll see y'all in a minute.